they win, your audience wins, and you make a bit of money.
I like to say we're all the same once that laptop shuts. Okay, we're all the same person, but nobody's better than other people. And who are you speaking to at events like that?
The business owner then says, hey, your leads are shit. And then the agency goes, hey, well, you should be following up. And then it just doesn't work.
When people are doing events kind of like the one we met at, there is so much. When you just hear of it, first of all, you're like, oh, okay, I can sell tickets to my event or my tickets to my summit. But
how did you score that deal though? Because that you still need to build a bit of trust. How does an agency go, yeah, sure, you take my clients,
I had already formed a partnership with the owners of this agency, and they were just...
Hey, high levelers, welcome back to another episode of the HighLevel Experience Podcast. Today's guest is someone who brings equal part brilliance and realness to the world of online business. Angie StPierre, better known as the technical smart blondie, is a tech automation specialist, systems architect, and one of the go-to minds behind some of the biggest names in the digital marketing space. For over 15 years, Angie has been the quiet powerhouse behind high-level entrepreneurs, helping them automate, integrate, and scale with clarity and confidence. She's built back-end systems for coaches, course creators, and multi-seven-figure founders, all while keeping it fun, human, and a little bit rebellious. As one of the OG high-levelers, Angie has spent the last 6 years mastering the platform long before it was cool, building snapshots, automations, and workflows that have shaped the way modern online businesses operate today. Known for her signature mix of strategy and SaaS, Angie has made a name for herself in the high-level ecosystem by showing business owners how to work smarter, not harder, without losing their personality in the process. So get ready for a mix of straight talk, smart strategy, and the kind of tell it like it is energy that makes her one of the most refreshing voices in the digital space. Please welcome Angie StPierre, aka the technically smart blondie.
Hi. I'm so excited for this. Thank you.
Angie, yeah, great to have you here, Angie. We've met at Level Up just, back in October. It's been brilliant. What's been happening in the world since then?
It's been crazy. You go to events like that and then everybody's on this hype and you're like, are you really going to carry out all of the things? And I feel like this year it was different because, I don't know, I just felt more long-term momentum from the time we left Summit. Even while we were there, the connections that were happening were actual true things, not just, hey, yeah, you're really cool, let's do something, or I'm going to make more videos. Like, the people, I've kept up with a lot of the people, especially in these crazy group chats, right? And everybody's implementing and doing and reaching out to and meeting with. It's been, a little bit since we've gotten back at the time of this going live. And I can just see my calendar is full of the connections that I've made. I've seen other people's calendars, friends, and connecting, and from presentation content to implementing that to small groups that everybody was having off to the side. It's been great. We are rocking and rolling over here. And I can just see it's like an exponential impact that's being had across the online space with the connections and things that we picked up from Summit.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know who you're going to strike a chord and come up with some crazy, clever ideas on collaboration, some projects, or even picking a client, right?
Yeah. You don't know where it's going to come from. I feel like the difference in the Level Up Summit from how many events do we all go to, right, all year long, is you don't know who you're talking to. Or I like to say we're all the same once that laptop shuts. Okay, we're all the same person, but nobody's better than other people. And who are you speaking to at events like that really have some powerful connections behind them that you may not even know, and it was over sharing a pizza, I mean, you just don't realize sometimes who you're talking to and the connections they have and how you guys can mutually benefit each other. Or sometimes you think it's one reason and it's something else that you said in a conversation that really struck a chord with that other person that you may not even realize personally or professionally. So
Yeah.
it's I love
Now,
it.
this is not your first event. You've been around. You've been helping with some of the biggest names. Do you want to spill the beans just for the guys so like they get a bit of an idea of
That's
like,
okay. Yeah, no problem. I don't have any. I have started, I mean, like you said, I'd been with HighLevel for 6 years, utilizing HighLevel. I've been in this space for 15. And so from very common names, I was, and I'll share, she's on the thing. I was in the back end of Rachel Miller's team with Moolah Marketer and Grow Your Audience. I did a lot of her stuff several years back. I worked Steve Larson and Marley Jacks in the back of their business, who, we know the community that they were originally a part of, and people that they have referred me to for one-off projects just because I knew some crazy piece of tech information that they needed at the time, to Austin Armstrong. Like, I'm fully connected with him every single day, helping him with things in the background. And it's it's been a pretty wild ride. It's been incredible. So there's probably some I'm forgetting. I know from all those years, whether it's a small little project here of, hey, can you fix this thing, or a bigger event being put on. Just before Level Up, I ran an event
yeah,
for 4 days before that.
I was gonna ask you about that one. So that was the AI.
AI marketing world. I had to think about
AI
that one
mark.
a minute. AI marketing world. It used to be video marketing world, and then COVID kind of changed some things for it. And then with this AI piece, and like we said a few moments ago, you just never know what conversation. That event fell into my lap. That event fell into my lap because somebody had went in and set that event up with using HighLevel after they'd already been selling tickets for several months through other systems, and they weren't sure about a dedicated sending domain. Nobody was getting emails. And so I came in just to fix a dedicated sending domain. And within 6 weeks, I was the answer to with yes was the answer. And so the connections that came just out of that, with the knowledge that I had just from the back end to HighLevel. HighLevel has opened up so many opportunities for me. It's been incredible.
Why do you think that? Like, what would you attribute that most to? Is it because
Yeah.
you're attending a lot of these conferences, or is it like a bit of a rollover effect when like you've met these people in the past and it just kind of trickles down, getting more interest? What do you think that is? Because you're well
Um,
connected.
yeah, the versatility from a high level perspective, the versatility of the software. Yes, I do contribute a lot of it to being connected, to where I'll get in conversations sometimes and I'm like, oh, I know that person. But somebody else sees it as, oh my gosh, if I could just talk to. And I'm like, well, let me give you my phone. I have the phone number. But I think it's the versatility that HighLevel lends itself to, that you can utilize it with so many other softwares or systems that you already have running, that allows HighLevel to be injected into like almost any type of, I mean, pretty much any type of business. And I think that really, really helps those connections a lot, because it is the solution when somebody does have a problem that they come to me with. Yes, as far as going to conferences very, very often, but I think it's also being able, when you're at events like that, to, yes, they're there to socialize, but also not socialize, to learn and make those make the event a return on your investment by having those conversations that are focused on your business and why you're really there. We can all have fun, but people are buying from each other and connecting with each other. And I think sometimes people go into things. I was just thinking about this last night. When you lay in bed and you're like talking to Chat GPT because the dog won't listen, right? The dog's not going to answer you. And you're like, I was thinking there's so many different avenues that are, this probably is not a word, but monetizable in this space. And I mean, HighLevel is a perfect example, right? Like, you can build your SaaS platform. Okay, so there's one. You can, my favorite is help other people with their businesses utilizing the software, even if you're not going down the SaaS route. How many people I've helped start a freelance business, helping manage other people's businesses using HighLevel. Just the connections, whether you don't even have a white label or not, maybe you're not even in the SaaS, just the connections that you can put together, because there is the versatility of the community in high level. Everybody is different. Everybody's business is different.
I like this topic. How many business models are out there? I think let's go and see how many we can come up with for the guys listening, because there's a lot. So I've got one, and then
Okay.
so you could also, if you're like super nerd and love this platform, and you're like me, you just want to build your own stuff, you end up building something that's so epic that actually people want to buy, which is where I get to and start selling my snapshots. So that's like a pretty straightforward. People know about that one. You could help a business, dial it in, snapshot it out. Now you've got something scalable. You can go after that same niche. Profit goes up, fulfillment, it's no brainer. But you could also package it and sell it to other agencies. I like to say license it.
Yeah.
But here's another one, right? And I was going to say we go one for one, but I'll just jump.
Go ahead. You got two on me.
The affiliate play is big, and I'm not just talking about promoting higher level for the affiliate commission. I'm talking about there are key players in this space who have a large following, even other high-level affiliates, for example, right? That may not be in the snapshot space, they're in the education space. So you could partner up with people like that and say, hey, why don't we do a webinar together? Let me tell people about this awesome snapshot and what it does and why it's so cool. And then, we've got an affiliate commission. It's a no-brainer. So then that's a model in itself as well, right? So if you, on the flip side, if you're somebody who has that big following, you don't have the product, but you've got the coaching and you're really good at, helping people launch and scale their own SaaS business, you could proactively go and look at the marketplace, who's got something of real value, bring them on, and just help them sell it to your audience. Everybody wins. They win. Your audience wins. You make a bit of money. It's a great model as well. Very scalable. Leverage, I would say, is what I want to say. Yeah.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, Stand Out from the Pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results.
So Let me think of one. So one that I've been utilizing a lot is event management. When people are doing events, kind of like the one we met at, there is so much. When you just hear of it, first of all, you're like, oh, okay, I can sell tickets to my event or my tickets to my summit. But okay, but then at the summit or the event, you have an offer. And now it's the fulfillment of the offer. And then it's teaching the strategy you are. And like you just said, now you've got a snapshot built out that you then can also give as part of your offer. And then you've got the affiliate piece way in the back end because now they want to go ahead and implement what you're teaching them in your offer that you've dropped at the event that you used HighLevel to manage the event whole process of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's also the the selling of tickets. I mean, Andy O'Day is one of the OGs, right?
Oh,
If
girl.
you guys listen to his story, how he started selling tickets to motivational speaking companies, like he's done that, right? So that's a really cool episode, by the way. Go and check it out. Andy O'Day. Can't remember the number, but he's done really well as a salesman, selling mobile phones plans. That's how he started, I reckon, from memory, and then yeah. But yeah, there's many other people like that. What else we got? What's another business model that we could tell people about with HighLevel?
So another one I was a part of, and I'm hoping this is falling in the same category, is a sales team. So we utilized it and we're not going to use the word done for you because we all have read the book, right? You don't want to say that anymore. Full service sales. So we took a model that we knew worked. We then created a snapshot essentially and plugged it into every full service client that we had. And then we're like, how are we going to scale this? Because we can only do so many sales for so many people without growing our team massive. And we didn't want to do that. So now we flipped it and we turned it into, number one, if they don't already HighLevel, there's the affiliate commission side that we're getting. We're also selling that snapshot to even get them started for $20,000. So
Nice.
we literally sold the same process for the done for you for the exact same price and just teach their team over a few weeks to utilize the snapshot in the same way that our team was.
Yeah.
And then they're getting we're getting the affiliate commission on that account.
There's also that one, right? So you can sell a snapshot and you can say, look, I've got it all documented. You just follow the bouncy ball and it'll, it's got everything. So you know how to set it up. You can pass it to a VA. But, if you want it, we could also install it for you.
Correct.
So that's the upsell. Yeah.
Service.
That's great. Yeah. What else do we have? I'm sure there's more.
There is the different business models we can use with HighLevel. That's where we're going, right? Freelancing. I preach that one from the mountaintops. Whenever somebody's, I want to work online. And I'm like, you realize it's a lot of work, but I can help you. Is managing other people. Like I had one, I think I had 40 sub accounts at one time just from one push over a month of local businesses that a marketing agency locally here in my town was trying to service, and they really weren't sure how. I mean, they were logging into 40 different WordPress sites and Elementor and this one and that one, and we stuck them all on HighLevel. So then, of course, they were like, well, what else could this do? Right? And we were able to get all of them utilizing HighLevel. And we were in the back end doing our portion of reputation management. We were doing their lead capture. And it was just basic. They weren't doing much with automations, with anything. It was like the out of the box pick a recipe stuff. It wasn't anything fancy. Now with the voice AI and conversation AI and oh my word.
Agent Studio.
It's great. Yeah. Right. So that was another one that worked really, really well.
Let's stay on that one for a minute. So you went around in local, and that was under your own SaaS, under your HighLevel SaaS. Yep. So you went around and you got 40 business owners. So I think this breaks the record. I think we had on as far as who I've interviewed here so far. Oh, no, actually, no, sorry. Sarah Cordner takes the sport, getting 700 signups in a matter of a couple of weeks. But if we talk about on, say, Alistair Shirazi, right? He hit 100 in 4 months, I think. So you did 40 in a month. So that beats him. So I'm just curious, what was your process? What was your strategy to get into those 40? How did you approach that?
I went above that. I went to the business owner that was already managing the 40 accounts in their marketing agency, and they were just running out of steam. And I said, well, let me take all these under me, and then reached out to each of them and offered them more services based on what they were currently already doing. A lot of them were just doing some ads and their lead capture was somewhere else. They weren't, nothing was in flow. So we started out first doing all reactivation campaigns. And then we went in and said, I think the one we would use was like the birthday. Most of them, I would say not all 40, a very small portion was doing like the birthday reminders, birthday special type stuff, just because some of them were not, they didn't have plans like that. And then we went back in and offered email marketing services with that lead capture piece. So we just kept tacking, I just kept tacking services onto these 40 that was also burning out the owners of the marketing company because they, as much as they knew about some stuff, they weren't good at offering other things just because they didn't know what they didn't know.
So the agency didn't have HighLevel. They were offering them, let me get this right. So they were doing ads for them. That's pretty much it. And that's where they were. So it's a very common one, right? Ad management agencies, it's not too complex to, just give some money to Zach. As long as you dial in a decent ad, you can generate leads. But the leads weren't converting, right? So this is where the typical conundrum happens. The business owner then says, hey, your leads are shit. And then the agency goes, hey, well, you should be following up. And then it just doesn't work. So that's where you came in. How did you score that deal, though? Because that you still need to build a bit of trust. How does an agency go, yeah, sure, you take my clients,
I had already formed a partnership with the owners of this agency, and they were a mess, to be honest. They were just a mess. They had a lot of stuff going on. They had a partnership themselves break up. And so I said, let me help you with this. And we had already had something established. And then this individual that owned that agency didn't know anything. I brought him HighLevel. And he was like, yeah, but I still don't understand how to use it. And I said, well, can I just do the reach? I honestly just started doing the reach out anyway, and then just told him I did, was like, can we fix this, please? And he trusted me to do that. And then all of a sudden I know I called him and was like, okay, what do you want to charge for this? What are you charging them? Because he was charging them all different rates. I think it was based on what Bill was due when he started this agency, to be honest.
Right.
And was able to then literally just look at a spreadsheet and say, okay, this client has all this, but they don't have this. They could use this. And we were just plugging in what we were going to offer, what I was going to offer to them each month to get them up to essentially the five core things we were offering everybody. And it worked really well because with each thing they were saying yes. And then we had another piece of software that we were using in there as well that we were able to tack on top of that.
Nice. So you were upselling them with services. That wasn't just sign up for a SaaS and then just have one monthly subscription and then just
I was
adding.
upselling.
But that was all done for them services, like you said. So you had 5 core services: reputation, email marketing, social scheduling, or what was the next one?
Yes, actually, I'm glad you said that. Some of them was social media scheduling. Some of them, not all of them. It was reputation, their reactivation first into their email marketing. The last service was something that was not run out of HighLevel, but they did not know that because there was nothing they ever had to log into. It was a lead identification software that they didn't have to put in or opt in to their lead. It was just as long as they consented to the cookies, we would get their contact info.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like the Hyros one.
This one was visual visitor. We didn't stay with that one very long, though. Some of the data we just were finding wasn't what we wanted. But a lot of them honestly went through 5 different services we offered through HighLevel and then ended with complete site redesign.
Nice.
Like,
that's
just
a nice,
redoing everything.
That's a nice package. So I'm curious. So obviously you're more in that like done for you space, like help. What was that book, by the way? You mentioned the book we all read. I can't remember. Did I read that book? Hang on. Am I
oversubscribed?
Is that the book? So you're not supposed to say done for you services?
Oh, that. I thought you just meant in our conversation we were at Level Up. It is Segal's Don't Say That. The one that he just wrote. Yes.
All right, because I haven't heard that one. So why should not we say done for you services?
Honestly, I don't know, to be totally honest. I know that that is a thing that is in there where we completely ripped that out of any of our verbiage after he came up with that, after getting smacked by the FTC for some things. And so I know that that was the first thing we went and pulled out of all of our agreements, to be honest.
Huh. Not, this is where like I wish I had Jamie Joe Rogan style. Hey Jamie, pull that, find that
Pull
one.
that up. Yeah.
So helping business owners, doing services for them. Now I'm curious, what's your take on like pure SaaS? Sign up, Mr. Business Owners. Here is awesome platform. We can coach you. We got all the resources. Have you dabbled into that area as well?
I have in the way of, as you said in the intro, I do a lot of the back end tech migrations, automations, all those things. So as far as setting those up with other SaaSpreneurs for them, I don't see a problem with it. But in my experience, I've always seen it bundled, obviously, with services, community, and somebody else's teaching that then they put, you know, they tack the SaaS onto to implement their teachings. I love the opportunity of the SaaS. I think it solves a big problem, especially when it comes to the tech, because that's where I see, I mean, in all the years I've done this, where people don't implement, right? We start, the things we buy online start to collect digital dust because the tech learning curve is so difficult. And then they don't really have, all they have is a resource page, to be honest, with 5 different platforms that they could use, but they always get stuck, even if it's right on the sign up, because they don't know which plan to pick because they don't know what they're going to need. So having that SaaS component there to help people actually implement, reduce your churn, and get results, I think is huge. I love the SaaS model. I think there's just so much of an opportunity there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does require a lot of resources. The onboarding has to be dialed in as much automated as possible so it's scalable, but in a way that still works for clients. And if it's do it yourself / done with you in a way of, hey, we've got a community, we coach you, we run workshops every week, you can learn. That's kind of like how I do it. I'm still dialing it in, but yeah, it was just interesting to see what you're taking. Like in our community, I've interviewed a lot of people do services and they bundle the SaaS on top. Some people do it like, hey, we just sell the outcome. People don't even log in to the sub account. We do everything for them. And then you've got some edge cases. There's not a lot, but there are some edge cases you kind of go, hey, you know what? I can't be asked to do anything for my clients. I don't want to build anything for them. It's not scalable. I just go pure SaaS and I'll just educate them and I just provide them with a snapshot which they can spin up. And that's like Charles Higgins from Pinnacle, right?
Right.
So he's been big on it and it works for them. So it's
Yeah.
good that every model works. It just comes down to execution. Now, talking about execution,
Okay.
none of us are perfect from the get go. What's been like the biggest learning curve for you? Like, where did you like, have you got like an example of an execution where you like effed up and what did you learn from it?
Oh, yeah. I've had a few. I would say probably the biggest one, and it was a lesson, is taking on saying yes without actually doing the research if yes was the right answer in some things. I had a roofing client, and this was several years ago, and I knew high level was powerful. I mean, it's even more powerful now than it was when when I even said yes, and it wasn't that long ago, to something that it was just not, we didn't have opportunities at the time. Not opportunities, objects. And there was just no direct correlation between the software that they were currently using and the software that in high level, right? And what I was going to recreate, or that merge that I was going to make to solve that problem. And I literally was like, I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. And you know what? I finally just had to go to them and was like, I don't think this is the right solution for you. As much as I want to say yes at the time, it just wasn't going to solve the problem. And they really
Mm.
appreciated it more than me just saying yes and then them having a mess of the business that was already working with just a few ways they would have liked it to be better, because they were trying to pigeonhole themselves. They were trying to use it internally and they couldn't figure out high level. They just didn't have, I mean, the front desk girls couldn't figure it out. It just wasn't their gifting. And so that was definitely a learning opportunity where do a lot more research of exactly what they want because yeah, it's powerful. But if you're not familiar with that industry of what actually is needed, there wasn't a way. And I know a lot. You know what I mean? It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't even available. I mean, now with objects and so forth, I'm sure I could do it again. It'd be fine and integrations that probably work now with it, but at the time it just did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Those learning curves, those are the milestones in our entrepreneurial journey. That's how we pivot and we come up with
Yep.
something better. So as a result of that experience, you've obviously learned. I bet you've had more experiences like that. I've had ton of them, learning curves, right? Let's flip the script on this one. So what's been like the most exciting like an automation build out project that you've worked on in your career?
Probably, let me think. There's been a lot. I would say one of my favorites is somebody that it was one of my very first clients I ever worked with. He invited me to, I was running the back of the room at his events, like taking like credit card slips and payment slips for his offer. And watching him go from a hot mess express, and I can say that because he's a dear friend. And if he listened to this, he'd say, yes, I am a mess. And I was, and I still am. Not me, him. He had so many different pieces of software that he was paying for. Half of them he didn't even know. He had tons of free trials set up. He had 14 different email lists at one time in 2 different places. And watching my team bring HighLevel to him to simplify that tech stack was truly that image that we all see, that we all, on all of our SaaS pages and we first get them when we get in, right? Like that shows, get rid of this and this and this. Watching all of that actually be put in there and then watching him actually utilize it all still. I mean, he is not one to stick with anything very long, and he is still using HighLevel from 5 years ago when I first introduced him to it, and to see his events he's using it for, everything. He has everything inside of there now because it was a doozy. It was a spreadsheet, not heaven, okay? That he was running everything off of. And so it's been really cool to see that transformation of how HighLevel has plunged so many holes and the lives he's impacting through his business model. He does a lot of biblical things and stuff. So it's just allowed him to simplify, not have to focus on that and, fulfill his mission.
Yeah. Nice. What I'd like to pick your brain on, and for the listeners, so you're big on building solutions, building automations or systems for businesses and agencies like snapshots. I'd like to know what your process is from A to Z to like completion of something epic. Where do you start and what do you find works?
So I first start by asking everybody, why do you want to migrate or what is the problem that you think you have? Because a lot of the times they just don't know what they don't know. They're probably paying for a software that I am all about HighLevel. But if they are in something and they're only being told to move because somebody is giving them an affiliate link to make $40 a month, I'm going to stop them right there in their tracks and figure out what is really the problem. Because it may not even be a problem. If it is, and we decide going all in on HighLevel, which I always recommend, is the solution, taking it apart piece by piece. And first I go macro to micro. Like give me all the sites that you're currently driving traffic to right now. Give me all of your stuff. Let me go ahead and figure out, okay, where are these? Are you using Zapier? Are you using the back end of a different email marketing platform? Where is that marriage taking place? And really getting into every single pathway I can find before even saying yes. Once I say yes, I also find out, what does their team look like? Because is this going to be something you're going to want my team to manage after we finish this up? Or do you have somebody on the team that we can always have in the loop so they can be the person to poke holes and ask the questions, because it's going to be their problem or they're on their desk after I'm done. That's a huge one because I've been in their shoes and it's not fun. Once I get all of that info, obviously I get all the access and so forth. And then I always like to say, I'm going to migrate them into HighLevel the best way that it can be used for their business without aggravating, I will say, their current customers. I mean, I typically
Okay.
will say, and you can cut this off without pissing off your members, because we don't want anybody to have a bad experience while you're trying to move your members area and move all your courses and move all
There's a
your
bit of
stuff.
planning. There's a bit of planning involved in that too, right?
It's a lot.
You gotta
It's a
do it in
lot.
phases.
I'm in one right now. I'm in a huge one right now, and it's been phases. It's been phases.
Mm.
I'm like, give me your people that will be honest with you if something is broken, because I want those people to go through it first. I want the people to tell you they hate it before we put hundreds of people in there and then you have a mess that you have to clean up. And
Mm.
we haven't had any of that. Everything's been good. So that's where I go there. And then slowly moving in, I actually take an entire list of all of their domains, all of their tags, all of their workflow, anything they have of what are you not using anymore? And we literally just migrate without the mayhem. What can we keep? What can we ditch? What can we, what do we need to move and what do we not need to move? People's stuff is cluttered of so many things that they might use one day that darn well they're never going to use, and they know they're never going to use. And so moving it over slowly, and then I take the smaller pieces with their team on the line so they can see pretty much how it's done, how it's built. They don't have to do it, but so that they know where to look when they want to change something, when something changes. And then after everything's done, obviously, like you said, in phases, 2 or 3 phases we go through of getting everybody in there, making sure everything is buttoned up. And then I usually hang with them around 3 months or so, pretty much just open door with their team for questions, because there's always, oops, we forgot to ask us. There's always, oh, could you do this too? And one thing I always ask is, I hope this is answering your question, is what's the problem right now? And then what is the next step in your business? Because people constantly will say, okay, yeah, but now we did this, we need to do this. And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that in the beginning. I
And
didn't
then you have to
know.
quote them separately. Or
Yeah, it's kind of saying, oh, we're going to do an event. And then afterwards coming to me on the last day saying, oh, we're going to offer something. Well,
yeah,
I wish I would have known you were going to offer something on day one, that we started working together, because now we need them segmented all different ways and we need that built out.
you said it at the
Yeah.
beginning. You start from the bigger picture and then you go into the detail. And the devil is in the detail, but if you don't have all the information, it's very hard. Yeah.
It is.
And so
It is.
you're talking about, so far I'm hearing migration, the process of
Mhm.
migration, and then you also do custom build outs. Once you migrate them over, then you look at the opportunity. So it's migrating maybe their existing automations and things like that as well. So that's kind of like just rebuilding. But what about then looking at like auditing what they have and then where the opportunity gaps are? How do you approach that?
I typically will find out who on their team is doing what is being done manually, and why is it being done manually. And so a lot of the times they don't even know they can automate certain things, or they're just afraid of the tech, or they don't know what they don't know, is honestly the answer. I say 11 out of the 10 times. And then where can we build a process? Where can we interject opportunities? Where can we put those pipelines in? Where can we put in workflows that are just going to alert them? And the most important thing I always ask, because people always say, what do you recommend? Should I use Slack? Should I use a text message internal notification? Should I use an email? And I'm like, where are your people going to respond the most? I'm not going to tell you use ClickUp versus Active versus Airtable versus Asana or whatever else is out there today. Or what are you actually going to use? Because I feel like people spend so much time trying to manage all this stuff. And I'll be honest, as much as I love all the tech, like I can't do anything without a piece of paper and pen, because it's just the easier way to write it all down and get it all done. I can't, it's the easiest, I swear. So what are they actually going to use? And why, like I said, why are they not automating it? And then
Yeah.
building in that process of, I build the automation, but I also always have a way. I have somebody right now that, we've automated everything from the sending of the contract to once it's sent, the invoice link is sent for their onboarding fee, and then the reoccurring, But there's always the situation where maybe it's a relative, maybe you're giving them a deal, maybe the contract changes. So it always has to be able to still be touched by the human hand because you want to automate those systems, but not those relationships. And so I always give it that opportunity that it has to be undoable. It has to be doable manual if they need it.
Because
I don't know.
if you do anything manually, will it break anything as well? Like so,
Right,
and this is
right.
where
And
obviously,
that's, mhm. I've had it happen, and you just have to know. You have to know, and that's my favorite. Like when you use, I typically will install some type of internal form that they have to put all the info into. That will
Mhm.
also set an alert to somebody in Slack channel of, hey, this was done as a one-off, so that they know they have to go and do the other parts or certain things aren't going to fire because it's been and you only learn those ways through experiences because people are people. So,
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. So the guys that might be listening, some people still get like maybe overwhelmed when they first start high level. Let's just stick to like maybe like an agency owner they just transferred over. They may still get overwhelmed. What would you like recommend them to speed up that learning curve?
Yeah. I would only focus on, there is so much in there. I would focus on literally recreating or trying to recreate what you currently have running in your business. Even if you know there's a reason why you're going into high level to amplify it, to automate more, to put more systems in place, just put in there right now, just do what you're currently already doing and get your feet wet with it so you know, oh, that's not quite working right. Then go in and add something, kind of like we said earlier. We started with reputation management and lead capture things, and then we went in and added certain pieces in. The same thing, create what you already have and figure out, oh, that's what this does in a workflow, and that's what a campaign is, and that's what a template is, and get those pieces done, then I always tell them clone what you already have and keep it so that when you screw it up, you can go back to it and then go ahead and try to get clever. Then go ahead and try to start from scratch because I feel like if you start from scratch just straight out of the gate, you're going to want to try to create a website, a funnel, a survey, a form, a quiz, a this, a that. And then all of a sudden, you've just created more chaos for yourself and you're still
Mm.
running out of 9 different platforms because you haven't figured out how to use HighLevel. If you could just recreate what you have, then you have time to, okay, everything's running as it should. Now let me go play and see what other cool stuff I could do.
Yeah. But it's
Mm.
all exciting, there's all these
It
new
is
things.
exciting.
And it's so easy to feel like a kid in a candy store and wanting to like dabble in that and check this out. I know I'm like
Man.
that. It's a bad thing.
You know, I was telling somebody at Summit because this type of conversation came up, and I said, when we all like we'll buy something, right? For example, I enrolled one time in an Amazon, how to make a book on Amazon type course, and it was all this, do this research and all this, and I'm like, I just want to see it done. I'll go research if it's something somebody wants later. Let me just get a finished product that nobody wants real fast, just so I can say I got the process and I did it. So get it done, do with what you currently have, then go back and get clever because it is exciting. There is so many. One thing I always, and you probably have some too on YouTube somewhere, but I tell people just go straight to the high level YouTube channel. Go straight to the high level YouTube channel and go through some of this stuff there because going crazy when everybody has good content out there. You get sucked into rabbit holes that you did not want to get into. And if you just go straight to them, high level is not promoting anything but themselves. So just stick there with how do I do this? And you'll be able to, I think you'll be able to figure it out. Mhm.
I mean, you've got Frank Aaron just running workshop. I mean, at the time of the podcast, it's already happened, but he was running a workshop like early November. Yeah, Frank Aaron, right? So you get to learn from Frank
Mhm.
Aaron. And that's how I was putting it out there. So
Oh,
it's
right.
actually, yeah, what you said is really important because there is so much, and there's some epic stuff, right? There's some epic
Yeah.
courses and all that. But then you hit somebody else and they're like, they don't get distracted. They don't get that shiny syndrome. They just
Implement.
get what high level is at the face value, and they just pick one simple thing and then just go after it, and they don't get distracted, and now they're hitting diamond, they're hitting platinum. And in the meanwhile, there's people like me who is like nerding out on stuff and building and stuff, probably have things, a lot more complex. But yeah, I just wonder what makes somebody be like that. How do you do that? With an OCD, ADHD brain, it's not everybody's like that. A lot of us are,
A lot of us
but I
are,
see
yeah.
it. But I see it. Like there's some people who just literally just one thing. Yeah, speak to them like, yeah, I just do this one thing. I just sell reputation. Just speak to local businesses, sell them reputation. The out of the box thing, and
I
they're killing it.
know.
I'm like, bro, like, how do you not get distracted? I wish there was. Like somebody needs to come up with that would be a product you make millions. If you know how you got those race horses, they put these the blinders.
Yes,
That's
it's
somebody's gonna
true.
come up with that.
I know. It's funny you say that because I literally had a conversation last week with a gentleman that I had met at Level Up, and he said the same thing. And that's what his was. I take this QR code and I go to the business and I say nobody's responding, and I sell them, and I'm like, but what about all this other stuff? What about all the I mean, he has multiple businesses, so he's got a lot of it dialed in, but that's all you focus on. But me, I'll be talking about all the features and benefits and all the, I want to redo their whole life because I love it. But I know the blinders is what we need.
But you know what it is also? It's like this logical thing. Like you just put your logical brain on as well. It just makes sense. I do have to stay on top of things because things are moving fast. And I tell you, like, I don't know about you, but it feels like things definitely feeling like they're moving way faster than they were before. And the competitive edge, the window to snatch that opportunity, I feel like it's way smaller than it used to be with AI. Like I just spoke to a mate of mine. He was showing me how he built voice AI agent that trains voice, that creates other voice AI agents. Oh, I don't have that. Well, now he's got an upper hand. So if he rolls this out, okay, well, like this
Right.
AI opportunity, I feel like we don't have a huge window. Somebody's going to capitalize on that. You're going to get squeezed out. If you haven't started offering it, you're going to get squeezed out. That's just a logical, common
Right.
sense thing, right?
And knowing that differentiator is what you just said of what do you jump into and I've got to learn all the things, or what do you say, that's amazing, I would love to, but let me let that be his thing or her thing and I'll stick in my lane. Like how to know the difference, because that's where I go with the AI stuff. I see all these cool, look at these images and look at these characters and look at these twins, and I'm like, yeah, but what about the back end? What about you made it pretty, but can I go make it functional now and you can make it pretty? But then everybody wants the image creation, It's just so how to know where to go other than being like, what did Gary Vee say is the next hottest thing, right? Like how to know where you need to dive in and where you can just swim around and, and then get back to business. It's a hard thing to differentiate. It is.
Yeah. I think it's important that we're talking about it though, because the guys that might be listening, just making them know that they're not alone. Like you guys, I'm running this podcast. I wish I was this like a perfect role model, and you guys be like, "Oh, this is how he does it. Like he's killing it." I'm not. Like I'm super OCD, ADHD, all that stuff. I'm just looking at all these other stuff. I'm trying my best. I've got some successes, but yeah, I think there's a lot more people like me, and so yeah, we're all on it, and we get there somehow. It's a crazy road, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I use it as like a reward sometimes too, right? Like you and I are both in the same Facebook group or Facebook chat groups, right? And we see these cool things and I'm like, okay, I can save this and I can go play with that later. Let me finish my work. And now it's playtime that I can go figure this out. And now that I can go figure it out for myself, I can now go do it for somebody else after I get it actually working, or I at least have this as a tool that then do you reach out to the person, right, who did the really cool thing, and then you make, like we said 10 minutes ago, the affiliate on the back end of, hey, I can send you a client to do that for, or do you really dive in yourself and learn it to the degree that somebody else has already had it figured out, and it's that push pull of, I want to go play with it, but is it really my wheelhouse? It's okay if somebody else does it better, but yeah, it's a
There's one thing.
tough one.
Like there's one thing That's for certain. Because of who we are and how we like into this stuff, we
We're
actually
nerds.
know a lot. Yeah, we're nerds. We know a lot about our level and we know what can be done. So if you don't and you need help, reach out. I mean, Angie, you've got something on offer for in this space as well. Did you want to mention it to the guys?
Yeah. So as everything I've shared here, right? There's several avenues that I have no problem lending my eyes to, taking a look, how we can simplify, how we can make high level work for the business that you currently have, regardless of the stage that you're at. And you can find that at highlevelexperience.com/smart blonde, smart blonde with an E on the end. And you can find all that information there, how we can work further to, automate those systems, definitely not those relationships, and see which part of high level would be best and where maybe you're not fully utilizing all the capabilities of it that you could be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, if you want to get even like having a bit of an audit done or
Yeah.
even custom something done, yeah, just head over there, highlevelexperience.com/smart blonde with an E at the end and book a session with Angie and see where it takes you. And by the way, I mean, while you're on that page, we do have some other offers as well. So make sure you scroll down, check them out. Shout out to our amazing sponsors, by the way, who make this show possible as well. So, yeah, a lot of different options for you available. Now, Angie, I've got a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So what about high level initially grabbed your attention?
The ability to help a vast variety of clients. I was asked if I could use it, and it was by 5 different types of business owners, and all 5 are perfect candidates. So I jumped right in.
Brilliant. We were just at level up. Lots of cool new features were released. We finished a massive 4-hour roundtable, big nerd out session, even with Sean Clark. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. So a lot of cool new features. Now I'm curious, which one stood out, like in particular, like this is the one I'm going to implement first and why?
Definitely I'm gonna call it the wrong thing, I know. The version 2 of the workflows, what's the formal name for it? I know there.
Flow builder.
Yeah, the flow, but I think that's what I don't know if we're calling it the right thing.
What's node based?
No, Node with a what?
Node based instead of tree branching.
Yes,
No.
yes, node-based, yes, because you could skip over certain pieces where I was making multiple workflows. That's the one that I've had the most fun with learning and implementing, and helps really amplify the use of the back end.
Excellent. Now I know we have a lot of new features that were released, but is there, I don't know, are you like checking the ideas board and looking at like really looking for that one to come out? Do you have one like that?
That I'm really looking for. God, there's so much. You know what? With the release of everything so far, what I was excited about, I will say, and I'm excited that it's in there, kind of to back up there with the one that I got most. This is gonna sound so silly, but the Printify integration. I have a lot of clients doing print on demand and stuff, and they were just pigeonholed to Printful and a few others. And now that Printify is there, I am able to run with so many projects that I had just had sitting there and they were paying a lot of extra money for. I know that sounds maybe silly with some of the bigger ones that are out there, but that one really excited me personally.
Love it. Yeah, Printify. I love that concept. I just wish there was something like that available for Australia. It's the only thing we're always like bit behind. Yeah. The
Hmm.
ability to program it in and make those like nice little touch points, sending somebody a coffee mug, a
Yeah.
t-shirt, something, a cool little leather covered, a notepad for Christmas, little
Hmm.
things like that. Yeah, I really like that. We have this segment on this podcast called 3 under 3, which is 3 impactful stories, each under a minute. I'm just curious, do you have a story of a client that you helped, and as a result of what you've done for them, what was the lifestyle change for them? Do you have a story like that?
Yeah, actually. And this is an interesting one, but there is a client that I have recently helped who I currently still work with to this day. And the lifestyle change for them was for them, but in particular, it was for other people. They were able to do things in their business that actually enabled them to grow their business, scale their current offerings to the point that they could also be able to offer programs that then they took those finances and actually they're building schools over for children in Africa. And so
Oh, nice.
utilizing HighLevel and all of the back end pieces and stuff in their business freed them up to really focus on a bigger movement that they were made for. And they are building schools over there now for, I would say, underprivileged, but they all are in that area they were in. And so I feel like without utilizing what HighLevel has brought to them, they may not have been able to make that impact as quickly and set up as many schools as they've been able to collect for, because it has simplified their business so much.
And this is, you know,
Yeah.
this is what's amazing about what we do. It's like, at the first glance, it's like we can help business owners automate, we can help them increase profitability, we can help them increase the lifetime value of their business if they're looking to exit one day. But we're actually making a lot more impact than that. We're going beyond. A lot of businesses, I think, once you get a certain wealth point, I mean, you
Yeah.
look at billionaires, they get so much money, they don't know what to do with. So then what they do is they try to launch charities and things like that. So it's almost like it's a natural next step for people who get to that endpoint. And so we can play part role in that as well.
Yeah. Did you say 3 of them? I have a second one. Was there a 3 stories you wanted, or was that a 3 and 3?
So I don't have a submission. Usually
Oh.
I try to get the guys who are listeners to submit. I don't have those
Oh,
today.
cool.
So
Okay.
you
Send
go
it to
for
you.
it and feel free to go
Oh.
specific.
So I had somebody else that I know that utilizes, they were struggling. They were doing freelance work and so forth, and introduced them to HighLevel, and the impact that HighLevel has been able to make on this individual's life, without getting too much of their personal info there, has enabled them to reach an income level and lifestyle, right? Using HighLevel to run their business and help other business owners using it, that they were able to actually help fund a very pricey IVF journey. So it has helped them make the amount of money that they needed to grow their family and get through some struggles that just work in their regular 9 to 5, or charging very little that they were for their services before, not able to scale it in the way they can with HighLevel, has really made an impact there because of the income they've been able to make between the affiliate opportunity and helping others and the SaaS. There's so many pieces that they've been able to pull into their business. Yeah.
I love it. Life's too short. Know your worth, know how to price it.
Yeah.
And also then you can achieve the personal objectives. It's a pretty tough one, that one. We got friends who had, try, and they had miscarriages, they're trying to have a baby. And so, yeah, this is, powerful story. Do you have one more?
Yeah.
We don't have to fill all 3 slots, by the way. This is also, a call out to you guys listening. Like if you,
yeah. And then submit one.
Exactly, like submit. No, if you have an agency, then the likelihood is you're probably helping more than one business owner change their lives. And so if you got one that you just helped recently, or even in the past, that, really stood out and it's worth sharing, then please do. Head over to HighLevelExperiencePodcast.com/your story. Just record a short video, upload it, and then we'll feature it in the next episode. You get a bit of a shout out for your agency as well, and somebody else will get to listen. That might, you never know, you're gonna inspire to do the right thing and help more people. So it's benefit for everybody. All right, well, we're almost at the end, Angie. I got just a couple more questions for you. Is there something you wish you had known before you delved into this career of nerdy, smart blondie thing, building automations and all that? Is there something, it's like you were getting into this, I'll enjoy this, but actually there's something you didn't expect happening in this career? I don't know. It's a bit broad, I know, but.
No, you're fine. I would say something I wish I knew going into this, and honestly, it's still a thing that creeps up almost daily, right? You know more than you think. And you watch other people and you get in the back of, fortunately, I've been blessed to be able to be in the back of so many businesses and see the back end ITs. I've never had to buy a coaching program because I built everybody else's, right? They're like, oh, do you watch them? And I'm like, I really don't. I really don't watch the content. I just click and paste and do all the things, but sometimes I do. But you know more than you think you do. And I think in this space, or I know in the space that we are in, something that was a big battle for me that I wish I would have realized sooner was that we're all in these Facebook groups, right? We're in the high level Facebook group. We're in digital marketing Facebook groups. We're in Facebook ads Facebook groups. And we think, oh gosh, but everybody knows that, or I can't create content on that, or maybe this isn't what I could offer this, but not in the same way he or she can. But then when you get out of those Facebook groups and you're going out on the regular internet or just walking around your community and talking with people, just connecting, you realize that the regular like business owners and so forth, they're not in those groups. So you do have value, you do have something. And the people you're speaking with at the local chiropractor's office, for example, they're not comparing you to the 5 other people who are offering services using high level to chiropractors because you are seeing it in a group which is saturated with those people. But this is all over the world. So put the content out there because you never know what's going to resonate with somebody and what's going to, don't not share because you think everybody's doing it, because they're really not. It's just amplified for us because that's where we hang out.
There you go. This is the solution to that thing that I was mentioning earlier. We get so distracted all the cool things and thinking like you're going to get squeezed out of the market because somebody else has got more advanced with AI. But it is because we hang out together in that community. So yeah, maybe it's just finding the balance and not being always in that community and just going in the regular businesses. I mean, BNI is a good one. That's what I do. I go to regular business owners. So speaking to like regulars, maybe I just need to do more of that. There you go. Angie, we're at the end. Thank you so much for being on. You've shared a ton of value and appreciate you for being here. It's been great meeting you at Level Up and great to have you on the show. Now, for the guys that are still with us up until this point, thank you so much for being avid listeners. Now, Angie, if you wanted to leave last piece of advice for the guys listening, now would be a perfect time.
The last piece I would say is don't think just because somebody appears to have a bigger business than you, or they're in the Facebook ads and you're not, or their landing page looks perfect and yours is the first one you've ever built. Still put your stuff out there, still connect with those people, especially people tell me all the time, what's different about the high level community from all these other communities out there is you, like we said in the very beginning, it kind of just came full circle when you asked me that, is just because somebody seems to have a bigger business, whatever we want to define that as, they're still willing to help you. In fact, I find the bigger the business somebody has is the more giving those people are. So still ask, even if it sounds silly. And I don't care if you have to say, well, what is a landing page? What is a funnel and what is a website? Because everybody had the same question at one point. And the bigger the name that you say it is, right? They'll answer the question. They're going to help you. They're going to want to help you and want to pour in because this journey is so exciting. And high level is the best thing that I've used. I mean, it's changed my life. So don't be afraid. Attend the events. See you at Level Up 2026 because we will be there.
We'll be there. That's a great to finish on that note. Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate you. And yeah, great having you on.
Thank you.
Now, guys, thank you so much for listening as well. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please share it with your fellow agency mates and other high levelers that you think would benefit from listening. For show notes, links, and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.